has cleared out of town because it's Good Friday ahead of the Easter holiday and a long weekend. It's also spring break here in D.C., so a lot of federal offices are pretty empty right now, but there is a lot of activity in the West Wing. As for what President Trump is thinking about right now, if you talk to him at any point about things like this that happen, he will tell you that his worldview is that the world is a dangerous place. And it seems like this falls into that category because he is not planning to make any changes to the U.S. strategy over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Less than 48 hours ago, he said that we are almost done meeting our objectives in Iran. They needed to hit them hard for another 2 or 3 weeks. And he told NBC whether or not they asked him whether or not this was going to affect negotiations with Iran. The quote is, no, not at all. No, not at all. It's a war. We are in a war. And so we should not expect any changes to the strategy. We do expect some kind of a statement from CENTCOM, who have been operating this combat search and rescue mission in Iran since some point last night when this plane went down. We just don't have those details yet. It sounded like this morning they were working on something, but there is nothing to share yet. And notable, President Trump's public schedule today showed 3 things.
Yeah, so as things stand right now, as far as everything's being reported, the most consistent report says that 2 of the U.S. Army men has been rescued and 1 remains missing. So right now, yes, we have 1 missing out there in Iran. And like I said, the Iranians are looking for him. So, I mean, hey, let's keep this guy in our prayers. Let's hope our boys get to him first so these guys don't have no hostages. None.
Policy meetings, and one thing that was listed as signing time. They started the day on the schedule, closed press, all of them, which is normal. Sometimes if the president has something that he wants to say, they will open that up to the press pool that is assigned that day. So far, they have not done that.
Oh God, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen, liking the video, because I know we got about 45 of y'all on X. So what's going on? Make sure to like the video and follow me on X.
And the last event was set to start at 3:30. So obviously there are a lot of moving parts today, but it is possible that we will not hear from the president on camera about this today. His only public comment, aside from this brief phone interview with NBC, was on Truth Social, where he talked about going and taking the oil in Iran. So his focus remains on the broader objectives of Epic Fury and not just this search and rescue mission, which he sees as part of the war.
All right, Peter, thank you so much for that.
Well, some breaking news now. A senior White House official telling Fox News that President Trump's national security team is inside the West Wing right now as the search for a second jet crew member downed over Iran continues. Let's get back to the chief national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin.
All right, now let's go ahead and see what the left side of media is saying about this.
Sources tell CNN 1 of 2 crew members have been rescued after a U.S. fighter jet was shot down over Iran. Images of the wreckage shared by Iranian state media match that of a U.S. F-15, including this ejection seat that appears to be damaged. Let's take a closer look now with Colonel Cedric Layton. Colonel Layton, we didn't see the seat there, but I'm sure you have the image here. When you see something like this, you hear that one of the crew members was rescued. No determination yet on the other one. What scenarios come to mind?
So there are a lot of scenarios that come to mind here, Boris, but as you can see, this, of course, is the ejection seat right here. It appears to have some damage associated with it. This would be consistent with an explosion that would be a natural part of the actual ejection. So basically, these have an explosive charge. These ejection seats have an explosive charge underneath them, and that forces, that explosive charge, when activated, forces the person that's sitting in the seat up out of the aircraft, and then that's when the parachutes are deployed and things like that happen. So this is not inconsistent with a safe ejection, and it's something that is definitely survivable from that, assuming that the impact and everything was as we see here, where everything is kind of right side up in this case.
Yeah. When it was initially reported, state media in Iran suggested that this was an F-35 stealth fighter jet, but upon closer inspection of some of the photos of the wreckage, analysts have since determined that this is more likely an F-15. It's more consistent with the makeup of an F-15.
Yeah.
Help us understand.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, an F-15, not an F-35, because an F-35 stealth and maneuverability is supposed to be well outmatched. But an F-15, yes, that is definitely more believable, and it's actually what's happened. He was able to shoot down one of the F-15s. We was able to get, what was it, about, it was 3 crewmen. So far, we got 2 out of the 3. So right now, we're still searching for that guy as well as the Iranian. So like I said, keep this guy in your prayers.
Is absolutely right. So, you basically look at the type of metal that is used in this particular.
Oh, and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen.
Case, you look at the markings and you look at the way in which all of this is, printed in, stenciled in here, and the type of rivets that you see. All of that is consistent with an F-15. It is definitely not an F-35. And that is important because an F-15 is not a stealth aircraft. The F-35 is a stealth aircraft, and it's harder to detect, almost impossible for standard radar to detect the F-35. F-15 can be detected by radar.
Yeah, if it were an F-35, I imagine that it would symbolize a different capacity for Iran's military, whereas this does not. I do want to get your thoughts on the video that was geolocated by CNN showing a plane flying low over the ground while 2 helicopters are nearby. It's believed to be part of the rescue operation. Walk us through what's happening.
Yeah, so what you see here is there's a refueling aircraft here. That's a C-130, an HC-130, and that's designed to refuel helicopters like this. These are probably...
Yeah, I also got some of the videos here myself. Shout out to X. But here's some of the videos. They got the helicopters with the refueling. Well, the helicopters are refueling this plane, which is pretty cool to see. And this is getting taken by the Iranian people, by the way. So, they're allowed to release videos for propaganda purposes, of course. But pretty much, yeah, this is what's been reported all over. I mean, bro, they even got it close on the ground. And everybody's looking. So, yeah. Then we got a little bit more videos here. These are some soldiers on the look for this guy. Like, they're all armed. A bounty was put out for him. And here's the thing. You know the problem with this is? Because, this happened.
Rescue operation is underway.
So, what was it here? What is the headline? It was, oh, wow, okay. Here it is. All right, here it is. Breaking, second U.S. jet crash over the Strait of Hormuz. Wait, is that the right one? Nope, it's right here.
Crashed in southwestern Iran, but not before both crew members. An F-15E down. A U.S. fighter jet crashed in southwestern Iran, but not before both crew members successfully ejected. One American airman has been rescued by U.S. forces, and the other is still missing, with a massive search underway. Meanwhile, a so-called flying tank.
And here's the crazy thing. While they're making these rescue missions, helicopter rescue team wounded by enemy fire in search for, well, you already know, in search for the pilots. Now, like I said, we got one of them. Now we're searching for the other. Like I said, let's pray for their safe return. Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people in on the conversation by double tapping that screen. And like I said, shout out to X. Make sure you guys on X is also liking the video as well. We got 57 on X and about 15 altogether on YouTube. Appreciate the support, guys. Make sure you're liking the video.
Hog did also take enemy fire in the Middle East today. Joining us now with the very latest, our very own Jennifer Griffin. Good evening, Jennifer.
Good evening, Lawrence. We have some new details about the F-15E, which was shot down last night, and the A-10 Warthog, which was fired on and crashed near the Strait of Hormuz. The pilot of the A-10 Warthog was rescued after the crash, we've learned, and 2 rescue helicopters involved in the search for the missing F-15E weapons systems officer were damaged by enemy fire, and some of the helicopter crew members were injured, we're told, but they did manage to land safely. The U.S. F-15E was shot down late Thursday night before the sun rose on Friday in Iran. The pilot was rescued, but an urgent search continues for the weapons system officer who sits behind the pilot in the Strike Eagle cockpit. He has not been found. U.S. officials tell me there was enemy fire during the rescue of the F-15E pilot. Video from Iran appears to show one of the American rescue helicopters being hit by enemy fire, black smoke coming off of its tail. This photo shows the ejection seat and parachute of one of the Strike Eagle crew members, likely the pilot who ejected after being shot down. Both crew members.
And the worst part about that is that, well, yeah, the Iranians found that. So you already know that means they know he's in the area. And I mean, look, man, this is a military guy, so I'm pretty sure he knows procedure. Get it far away from the scene, find somewhere to hide. Pretty sure he has some type of communication. So I'm in positive spirits that he'll be all right. But this is quite the scare for the U.S. military, not gonna lie.
Would have been
And for
given
U.S.
extensive SEER survival and evasion training. Markings on the wreckage from the tail shown here would indicate this was an aircraft assigned to the 494th Fighter Squadron stationed in Lakenheath in England, based on its red band. This is one of the units deployed to the Middle East since the start of the war 35 days ago. The U.S. F-15E was shot down in southwest Iran. The Zagros mountain range cuts through the remote province. Images of the Pave Hawk rescue helicopters being refueled during daylight shows the urgency of the rescue efforts, but also the vulnerability of U.S. aircraft to anti-aircraft fire or shoulder-fired missiles. A big win for Iranian propaganda today. Secretary Hegseth has been at the White House with the president. Yesterday, Hegseth surprised the Pentagon and White House by firing the Army Chief General Randy George, a respected close ally of Army Secretary Dan Driscoll.
And here's the problem. It does seem like anybody who's dissenting, look, if you dissent to the Iran war outright, you're gone. Now it's about, well, if you dissent towards troops on the ground, yeah, you're gone. Like, they don't want to hear no-nos in this administration. All they want to have is a bunch of yes men just pretty much saying, yeah, please, no. Well, you got to go ahead and put troops on the ground. Everything is going to be good. Actually, it's going to be just like Venezuela. Like, bro, pretty much telling this man whatever he want to hear. Like I said, right now, there's an echo chamber around Trump, and that is dangerous, especially when it comes to, well, foreign policies.
Sources tell us the removal has to do with Secretary Hegseth's rivalry with Driscoll, who is a close ally of Vice President J.D. Vance and was considered on a short list to replace Hegseth at one point, Lawrence.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. If you get any breaking news, please alert us. Thank you so much.
All right, though, let's go.
The HH-60 helicopters that are being used by the Air Force's search and rescue capability. There's a search and rescue unit that's out of the 1st Special Operations Wing that could possibly be involved in this. And these aircraft are designed to extend the range.
Oh, guys, do me a favor. You haven't already, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video. I know, like I said, we got about like 60 or 70 of y'all on X. Make sure to heart the stream or whatever, however y'all like the video. Appreciate the support. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Like I said, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video. And any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, just super chat it in.
Of the helicopters, so they can go further into the area that we have here. So when you look at the area that you see here, this is in southwestern Iran called Khuzestan province. This is the area where this is most likely to have occurred, and it is an area where they would have had the capability to refuel even in Iranian airspace, so that could then extend their range into other parts of Iran if necessary.
Put this into context for us, because even if it is an F-15 and not an F-35, there is still some symbolism to draw from this, especially because just a few nights ago.
Yeah, there is, because this whole air superiority that we have over Iran, it doesn't really seem to be true if we go low enough. it seemed like we stay high altitude, it's all good. And I mean, that's great. That's still like somewhat air superiority. But if we get any lower, Iran's able to hit us with these cruise missiles, and that's a problem. So this whole air superiority, that's not all the way true. And then when it comes to Iran's missile capabilities being decimated, as we see, that's not all the way true. I mean, should we see that with this jet being struck down? And we see that through the strikes in Israel and the strikes throughout the Middle East.
The President of the United States touting the U.S. military's ability to destroy Iran's offensive capability. We've heard the defense secretary talking about dominion over the skies of Iran. This contradicts that to a degree.
To a degree, it does, yeah. And so you see, when you look at all of these strikes right here, there's a considerable amount of effort that was put into this. So there's no doubt that basically thousands of strike sorties were flown against Western Iran, Southern Iran, and of course the area around Tehran. And when you look at the concentration right here of strikes in this area, and then you look at the types of strikes that were done here in the western part of the country and in the west central part of the country, you can see that there are a lot of areas that have been hit. And of course, the Iranians are doing the same thing over here in Israel as well. But having said all of that, the key thing is this: no matter how often you strike at targets like this, there are still capabilities that are existent within the Iranian arsenal. CNN reporting has at least half of the missile forces that were believed to have existed before the war still in existence right now. And one of the reasons for that is the way that they can disperse these forces. They have them on mobile launchers. They have them, on trucks basically that go all over the place that are harder to detect. And plus they bury them underground. So they have these hardened tunnels that are designed specifically to survive these kinds of attacks. Iran has been preparing for this kind of a war for a very long time. And we're seeing the results of that preparation. It doesn't mean that they're winning.
I mean, yeah, due to countless acts of aggression from the U.S. and Israel, of course they would sit there and plan for this for years, because we've shown nothing but constant aggression, and they've shown us nothing but constant aggression as well. So, of course, we're going to fortify ourselves for each other.
But what it does mean is that they have a capability to not only fight back, but they have a capability to down some of our aircraft if we're not careful and if the proper defenses aren't dispersed by the aircraft itself. F-15 does have the capability to disperse some defensive chaff, for example, which is like aluminum foil coming out of the aircraft. But be that as it may, they can do a lot of damage, to aircraft like that, especially if it's a heat-seeking missile as opposed to a radar missile.
Colonel Cedric Layden, appreciate the expertise. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Boris.
I want to bring in now retired U.S. Lieutenant General Mark Schwartz for more on this breaking news as we continue to.
All right, now let's go ahead and get back to the right side of media, and let's see what they're saying on this one. Let's see, the 5, they had their little panel. Let's get right into it. And guys, like I said, double tap that screen, like the video. Appreciate your support, by the way. But let's not forget to double tap that screen, like the video. Let's make sure we're supporting the stream with a super chat or gift. All right.
This is a Fox News alert. A frantic search underway for a second pilot after a U.S. F-15E fighter jet was downed over southwest Iran. One of the pilots has been rescued and is receiving medical treatment. And President Trump telling NBC that this will not affect negotiations with Iran. Let's go right to Jennifer Griffin in Washington. Jennifer.
Kaylee, it's not clear the condition of that crew member who was rescued. We've seen the harrowing images of the wreckage from the F-15E Strike Eagle fighter jet, which was shot down in the Kuz.
Oh, God, man, we got about 13 of y'all in the vertical, man. Do me a favor and let's get the likes up to 10. Go ahead and do that by double tapping that screen and liking the video, guys. Like I said, in the vertical, let's make sure we're double tapping that screen. And if you're watching horizontal, make sure to smash that like button, guys. Let's get more people in on the conversation and let's beat this shadow ban, but we got to smash that like button.
Khuzestan province. This is one of 31 provinces. It's a remote area that is in southwestern Iran, along the Iraqi border, but the Zagros Mountains go through this area. It is a remote region. And we understand that the search and rescue for that second crew member, the pilot, is underway, and it is obviously of the utmost importance. Those two crew members for the F-15E would have been given very serious SEER training. That's survival and evasion techniques to avoid being captured by the Iranians. The Iranians have put out a reward for the captured pilot if the pilot could be captured, and have doubled that reward since we first started reporting on this earlier this morning. We do understand from well-placed sources that the rescue aircraft that came to the rescue of one of the crew members, that there was enemy fire, and that it is possible that those rescue helicopters were hit in the process. We are getting details. We're keeping some details that we are trying to confirm because of the sensitivity of the nature of this search and rescue mission. There are other reports of other aircraft being downed in the region, but we've not been able to confirm those yet. Kaylee.
Jennifer, thank you. Meanwhile, Democrats are wasting no time attacking the president, accusing him of committing war crimes and threatening, well, you guessed it, another impeachment.
He's kicked the hornet's nest. He's got his foot stuck in it, and he doesn't know how to get out. So what is he doing? He's resorting to war crimes. It's an embarrassment.
He should be impeached now. I mean, he's taken us into a disastrous war. Democrats will impeach him once we take back the House, and should impeach.
I mean, yeah, I predicted that as well. I was like, yo, if this guy commits to those strikes on the energy facilities, water desalination centers, and then he lose the midterms, oh, no, he's cooked. No, they're going to try to put this man in jail, and they might successfully do it, sadly. Or, well, not just impeach him, but actually put this man in jail. But all right, guys. Oh, and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate the support. And of course, Rohana would be the one to say this. You know, I kind of liked him. I'm not even going to lie. Due to the Epstein Transparency Act, he's a real one for that one. And he's also being a real one right now by expressing the fact that, yeah, I mean, well, yo, if we win the House, yeah, Donald Trump's cooked, and we're going to come after him for what he's doing in Iran. If you disagree or not, I mean, let's be real. We all know the Democrats are dedicated to taking this man down.
Impeach him for all the things he's done. And depending on the Senate, he may face conviction.
I mean, that's pure insanity, and we will get to that in a moment. So do not worry, the Democrats will not go unaddressed. But I want to start with the most important point we are learning, Emily, and that is, of course, the down plane, the one search for the pilot continuing. We are told that President Trump's been in the Oval Office all day, the Oval Office dining room. The national security team is there, and he's been monitoring.
Indeed. There is no more primary mission right now for the entire United States and our commander-in-chief than the rescue of that second pilot and retrieving our treasure. And that's what it is. And I want to talk for a moment about the valor and the safety as well danger that faces the search and rescue personnel that are going after him. We all remember the Vietnam War and the POWs there. And Colonel Tom Moe was at the controls of an F-4, also an Air Force jet, when he was shot down. And in his inverted tailspin, had the wherewithal to radio back to the airbase and talk about it was actually their own munitions, saving their lives. And he evaded capture for 3 days. And during that time was in constant radio comms with the search and rescue personnel of the Air Force and more. And he was on the radio with then Colonel Bob Wilkie, who was at the controls of a Skyraider when Colonel Wilkie was shot down. So Colonel Moe, who was escaping capture by the Vietnamese, heard his rescuer shot down. And then he went on to be captured. He was a POW for almost 6 years. And the first question he had when he was returned to the Americans was, what was the name of that pilot that died saving my life? That is the brotherhood, and that is the danger that faces. But they are undeterred from having it be their primary mission. And secondary point quickly, Captain Barry Butch Wilmore, who wrote the book Stuck in Space, talks about the amount of preparation required and that they engage in for any kind of scenario. 10,000 hours in simulators and in real world scenarios, rehearsing, essentially preparing for not only the absolute.
Well, here's the thing, though. You guys are acting like, well, we didn't know this was going to happen. That's what I'm saying. All the people on the anti-war side was pretty much telling y'all that, look, this is not going to be like Iran. You're not just going to have air superiority like y'all been framing, you guys have, that we've been framing for what? A whole month now. We've been framing that we have been having this air superiority when they've now confirmed to shot down at least about 2 of our jets. So I hear the story. Trust me, I trust our soldiers to do the right thing, but this is what we were warning you guys about. And now you're trying to tell us about the testicular fortitude of our soldiers. Trust me, we know. You don't need to remind us. What we're going to remind you is why this was a bad idea.
Worst, but any kind of scenarios. The scenarios that might take 1/2 an instant, that might last a duration of 6 minutes. But the point is you prepare every type of that scenario. So I have no doubt that the pilot and the Wizzo, as it's called in the Air Force, F-15E, were properly prepared, and so too are the search and rescue teams that are going out there, and that will not stop until they find the second one.
You know, Paul, President Trump has issued pretty clear warnings to Iran about what will come. He talked about Iran looking like the—
Oh, guys, we got about 18 of y'all in here, man. Do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Stone Age, should they continue this. And you have the Iranian foreign minister who came out and said striking civilian structures, including unfinished bridges, will not compel Iranians to surrender.
Yeah, so look, one of the things that we are reminded of today is that, as we used to say in the intelligence game, the enemy gets a vote, okay? Yeah. And war is not antiseptic, no matter how you portray it and how it looks on television, okay? This is the inevitable result of doing what we're doing. But let's review the facts here, and let's understand the two sides of this quite accurately, because I want to respond to these allegations of war crimes, which I think is the kind of hyperbole that is really why we don't trust Congress these days, and why their ratings are what they are, because that's way over the top while we have people in theater fighting this war. Look, reasonable minds—
I mean, look, bro, they're just following orders. It is what it is. But I mean, let's be real. If Trump destroys their energy infrastructure, that's going to have more civilian harm than military harm. If they destroy their wall desalination center, these guys won't have clean water to drink or bathe with. That's going to be more on the civilians than on the military, and that would be considered a war crime. Like, I'm sorry, I know you want to get us caught up in the feelings, but oh, it's our soldiers out there and they're doing God's work. But I mean, yo, God's work isn't making things harder for the civilians of Iran. IRGC, go ahead, give them hell, bomb them out of existence. But when you start hitting civilian infrastructure that's going to affect them, yes, that's a war crime. And it doesn't matter who's doing it. It's still a war crime.
Can disagree about whether or not going into Iran was a good idea, okay? I had ambivalence myself as well, confronting this when we had the aircraft carriers off the coast and by the Persian Gulf. But I would say two things. Number one, let's understand the stakes. If you believe that a nuclear-armed Iran with ICBMs would not attack America because of some theory, let's say, of mutually assured destruction.
Okay, you got any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements for me? Go ahead and super chat it in, $2 and up, or you can go ahead and send in the Venmo. If not, show some support to the stream by double tapping that screen and liking the video.
Destruction, which is what was always in place with us and the Soviets. If you think that that would work, then sure, I get the idea of saying this was a complete miscalculation. There was no reason to do it. They weren't a threat to us, because if we just leave them alone, they'll leave us alone. And that has to be the calculus, because they're going to get a nuke. That's at this point irrefutable. And number two, we know they had a missile that could go 2,000 miles that they weren't supposed to have. We also know they have an ICBM program. In a matter of time before they can hit, forget our allies in Europe, never mind them, I should say, but the East Coast of America. Never mind allies in the Middle East, not just Israel, but the—
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Bringing up their weapons capability is kind of like a moot argument, because like, oh, well, they're just so dangerous. They can attack us any second. Well, here's the thing. They ain't started attacking until we attack them. Yeah, so, I mean, look, here's the thing. Yes, it did surprise me. It surprised everybody when we realized that Iran has actually better missile capabilities than we thought. Who'd have knew? But here's the problem, though. It wouldn't have been a problem or a threat to us if we didn't attack them. Like, that's the problem with calling Iran an imminent threat, because, like, how are they an imminent threat when we attack them first? When if they was to attack us, I know what you guys are saying, so set, they got to attack us first? I mean, shoot, if you want to use the argument of an imminent threat, then yes. But if you attack them first, you can't use that argument.
The allies. So the point is this: if you believe that the mutually assured destruction, the balance of power, would have held all of that together, then I'm compelled by that argument that, you know what, we should have left it alone. But the truth of the matter is that I worked against these people, and I know how to mull this thing to the extent that anybody sitting on this side of the divide can know. And I don't trust them. And their messianic mission, their single-mindedness to get this nuclear device when their economy sucks, their people are in.
But here's, and it's funny that he said, like I said, they have not pushed towards a nuke. Well, let's be real. Before this war, we had intelligence knowing that they weren't going towards a nuke. If they was enriching towards 90, we'd know by now. If they was creating a nuke, we would know by now, just like we did with North Korea. We were able to pretty much track it. The problem is, though, we had a choice to make. Are we either going to try to economically starve them and maybe that'll keep them away from a nuke, or do we attack them? And we chose to try to economically starve North Korea, and that didn't work. So, I mean, it's kind of up to you guys and how y'all feel about it, because Iran already made their position clear. Look, I know we got the parts, but if you don't attack us, there's no need for us to ever build a bomb. And I mean, if you guys aren't comfortable with that and you feel like you got to attack them, then you can't be mad if they go towards a bomb when they told you that's what they were going to do. But all right, let's get back to it.
Open revolt. We know 30 to 40,000 of them been killed. Then I say to myself, if you're going to accuse our president of war crimes,
I would have to back them up. I'd have to be like, hey, yo, so do you have the names of all 30,000 protesters that was killed? Do you have any verifiable sources? No, you're just saying this. You're just saying it. And that's what kills me. It's just like, are y'all serious? Like 3,000 names has been reported and 2 more is reported. I'm sorry. You just can't sit there and throw out 30,000 to get people all up in their feelings to get into this war or to convince them more about this war. Crazy.
You better have an alternative to what we do about the fact that you're going to have a nation with nukes that can reach us at some point relatively soon and has a messiah complex and practically has death to America written on their currency. So from where I sit, those are the stakes, and we should understand them before we start throwing things around like impeach and try our president for war crimes. Because frankly, I find that disgusting.
Yeah, I do too. And, reasonable minds.
What, bro? I find it disgusting that the president would sit there and say that, bro, my president would sit there and say that he's going to cause suffering on citizens by bombing their water desalination center, by bombing their energy infrastructure. That's kind of disgusting, dog. Be real with you guys. Like the defense of Trump is becoming a bit too crazy at this point because, bro, if Obama was doing this, war crime. Biden was doing this, war crime. They would easily point out the fact that this is going to affect citizens more than it's going to affect the military. So it's kind of crazy that they're out here saying this.
Can differ indeed, but the war crimes language, Kat, I mean, that is like literally Iranian talking points.
Well, a lot of times for politicians, war becomes political. It's not political for me at all. It never has been. My concern now and always is about our service members, and seeing a jet get shot down like this, it does raise the possibility of escalation, which does scare me. Because a few days ago we were told, no anti-aircraft equipment, everything's annihilated, and now we're seeing this, and it does scare me. And for me, it's not political at all. It's personal. Just as the wife of a combat veteran, seeing what happened in Afghanistan, and then just seeing my husband suffer as he watched everything he fought for and that some of his classmates and friends died for fall apart so quickly. I mean, even war changes people, and seeing that up so close and personal changed me, even though I was always somebody who was a bit of a skeptic. But of course, I can't help but notice how some people who are just suddenly outraged about this war didn't seem to care so much about the ones before. So if you care about the consequences of war, then that should matter every time and not just when.
It does. What are you talking about, lady? Oh, by the way, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video. Yes, it does matter every time. We were talking about the unnecessary losses in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Somalia. Bro, we've been talking about this for a fucking minute, and you dare sit here and be like, well, it's best that you care about all of them. We've been talking about all of them, just the current one. Are you retarded? Like, I can't believe she had the nerve to say that as if that was an intelligent thing to say. God damn it, Fox. They losing it. They losing it. On this Easter weekend, I pray Donnie goes to heaven. God damn you, bro. All right, whoa. Sid, chill. Oh, man. And shout out to my man Sid for starting us off. Appreciate the support, bro. I know I said I got over like 100 viewers so far. So let me see here. Oh, about 78 on X and 22 altogether on not on Facebook, but on YouTube. So guys, make sure y'all double tap that screen or smash the like button wherever you're at. Appreciate the support.
And it's politically convenient. So, I mean, I know that this is a part of war, and that's exactly why I'm so hesitant about war. And I know a lot of people in my generation are more skeptical or are more concerned because we are the generation that fought the wars that we had in the Middle East already. So I don't want to get nuked by an Iranian weapon any more than anyone else does, obviously. But I think that for a lot of us in my generation, these soldiers were our spouses, were our friends, and we have, maybe some concerns. You can have concerns, but also be hoping for the best for all of our soldiers and military and be wanting to see things go well. I'm looking at this every day, hoping to see good news, hoping to see it wrapped up quickly. And I do find it very, very wrong and gross to see, I think, of course, not everyone, not me, but some people who almost seem like the most important thing is the politics of it all. And just because it's Trump. So I think that there are many ways to look at this.
I mean, here's the thing. You guys are glazing this war because it's Trump, even though other operations in the Middle East went terribly and giving us bad results. So you're doing the same thing. I'm gonna be real with you.
Most important thing has to be our service members and what's best for our country.
Absolutely. And they have names and they have stories like John Alex Kleiner, who left behind 2 7-month-old twins and a toddler as well, a beautiful father, and now a wife who is a widow. And, President Trump wants to make sure that sacrifice is worth it. And the question for others is what is the alternative? Iran getting a nuclear weapon? It's a tough quagmire.
Well, the alternative is there isn't one. That's what I love about these Democratic geniuses that go on and they love to tell a high chair quarterback and tell everybody what is going wrong, but you never hear what was going right or what's your plan? How would you handle it? This is
bro. I mean, shoot, I could tell. You know what? I'll give you that. Dems, they're not really giving much of honestly a solution here because a lot of them actually wanted this. They're just bitching that it wasn't them. But if you was asking me as an anti-war guy, I would look him dead in the face and I'd have been like Obama's JCPOA, but a stricter version. Okay, it's that easy. We don't got to put boots on the ground. We don't got to start striking people. None of this had to happen. None of it. We could have just sat down with these guys, put ink on paper, and then get the UN and other inspectors in there. And then eventually, due to the goodwill of them possibly following it, we'll go ahead and get our own US inspectors on there, and then we'd be able to live happily ever after. I mean, what's wrong with that? What? Am I an IRGC spy now because I want diplomacy? This is crazy.
This is a war that we are dominating in, but just like a prize fight where a guy is winning every round, every once in a while, the other guy is going to get a punch in. And they get a punch in, and if it's his hometown, the whole place goes insane. Wow, we got one jab in. But the whole time they're getting pummeled and getting beat. And that's the problem we have between the two countries. Iran doesn't care about their people. There's no way to track where their missiles are because they will put them under a school. They will put them in a church. They will put them wherever they need to be. And Iran is a big place. They get one shot in, and the people who are supposed to support our troops, regardless, and these are elected officials, and they're all about the troops when it comes time for election. Here's a time where now you're saying they were sent on a bad mission, that they're doing war crimes. The president isn't doing these things. He's saying that the men and women that serve this country are taking orders and they're going to go out and do war crimes.
Oh, I would have
to say that, and to say that you're a patriotic American is disgusting.
Bro, shut your dumb ass up, bro. That was dumb as hell to say. I'm sorry, but I was just retarded. First off, double tap that screen like the video guys, like, please. And second off, like, bro, are you serious? Like, is that a real argument to sit there and say that, oh, well, if you disagree with this war in any way, shape, or form, you're an American? Like, hold on, guys. I kind of lost my train of thought, but let me get that.
The people who are supposed to support our troops, regardless, and these are elected officials, and they're all about the troops when it comes time for election. Here's a time where now you're saying they were sent on a bad mission, that they're doing war crimes. The president isn't doing these things.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'd have to back him, like, pretty much be at his neck on that one. I'm like, so, is destroying an energy infrastructure that would affect most civilians, is that a war crime? Yes, it is. Is destroying a water desalination center that's mainly gonna hurt the civilians, is that a war crime? Yes, it is. So when they're saying this, they're not coming off the hip with it. I'm telling you, they're not. And here's the problem. I mean, Donald Trump might not even really be charged for this, but the Dems have a really good argument, though. And I mean, I get it. Obama's committed some wild things. Obama, yes, we get that. But we voted for our president to do better. Now, when he does the same exact thing, we want to play the what about game. We voted for better, not what about.
He's saying that the men and women that serve this country are taking orders and they're going to go out and do war crimes. To say that and to say that you're a patriotic American is disgusting.
Shout out to my man
Their
Sid.
talking points.
He says women with glasses have opinion on TV, and we supposed to listen. LOL. Shut the fuck up, nerd. Like, damn, Sid. Like, this man Sid don't care tonight. Oh man, shout out to my man Sid. And if you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, you could be like my man Sid and send in a super chat. $2 and up will, I guess, get you a sentence. So appreciate the support, guys. And let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video.
It doesn't matter. When President Trump got shot, they weren't out there saying this was terrible. They're like, well, it's his fault. Or they would make a little and it's the same thing. The war, we know the war is successful because they're so upset. And the first time there's a little hiccup in terms of they got one of our planes.
This man literally said we're gauging the success of this war on the outrage from the libs. So don't matter how much of our equipment gets destroyed, don't matter how much lives are lost, the war is all good as long as the libs are outraged. Yeah, we're cooked. We're cooked for the midterms, guys. It's over, bro. Just pack it in. Just prepare for Democrat domination. You know what, Sid? Joking. I'm joking, guys. But Sid, we might actually have that blue wave, guys. Just go ahead and get your Kamala hats. Just I don't know, dig it out the trash somewhere, because if this is what they're saying, then we're cooked, bro. Bro literally said, you know what? The success of this war depends on the outrage of the libs. Like, I'm just like, oh, yeah, we're done. All right.
They acted like, oh, wow, it's now the war's changed. America's on the ropes now. They're not. It's just, it's a terrible thing when one of our own goes down. He has the training. There's people in place. The president is literally sitting and watching one to make sure, wants to know what's going on. He didn't have to look for him. We didn't have to look for somebody in the White. We had understand that Iran had basically 4 years to load up and do whatever they want. And now, and even with all the stuff, the timing that they had, we have crippled them so much to where they're reduced to they got one time and they want to have a parade and they want to, I feel very bad for the leadership that's left, because just their reactions from all of this, we're going to see a very powerful response from the American government and our men and women who are serving.
We do.
And to that end, my question for Seth Moulton, war crimes. Have you mentioned that Iran is recruiting child soldiers as young as 12 years old? There is one party that's committing war crimes.
Oh, and shout out to my man Sid for the baller alert on Venmo. Shoot, right now we're at, well, thanks to you, we're at like 55. So yeah, we're like halfway there. Shout out to my man Sid. Whoops. So like halfway there is with my man Sid. I mean, shoot, yeah, we're halfway, because your 20 makes 40, then there's 10, there's 50. I think you sent another one in, so I think that's 55. I'll check. I'll make sure I'll double check. But appreciate the support, my brother. And guys, make sure to be like Sid, and you can either send in a super chat or double tap that screen to show your support.
It is the
Or
Iranian
both.
terrorist regime.
Exactly.
And just to close the loop, if I can, real quick, you know, I don't want to hear that the alternative was the JCPOA, because you still hear that, right? When you consider the fact that as part of the negotiations here, we were just told that they had enough nukes for building.
Now, user, see, like, come on, user, we can't play the what about Biden game right now. It's like, well, how many billions of, like, yes, we all know how much billions of dollars was left. You know how much billions of dollars we spent right now? How much military equipment is getting effed up right now? It's like, brother, I love you, but you gotta admit here, we can't play the what about Biden game when it comes to the fact that we voted for better and we're not getting it. We voted for no new wars in the Middle East, and now that it's happened and we want to play the what about Biden? Nah, we can't do that, bro. We can't, because we voted for better. If we didn't vote for no new wars and Trump did this, then I mean, yeah, sure, we could sit there and play the what about Biden game, but we did. So this what about Biden game that we're playing ain't it? Like, sure, we could play that with inflation, maybe even the stock market, but not this war. I mean, let's be real. Biden didn't get us into a full-out war with Iran or any other country. Sure, proxy, sure, but not a full-out war.
At least, what was it, 10, 11 devices? But furthermore, they're not supposed to have the missile that they just fired 2,000 miles. So you're telling me that the inspection regime was working? You don't develop that.
And you're right, user. I am staying as grounded as possible. But please understand that this war definitely did piss me off. And the excuses that people are giving me for it is honestly pissing me off even more. I'm not even going to lie. Like, the excuses for it are even worse than the war, sadly. Oh, and shout out to my man Sid. He says, join me, motherfuckers. Yes, go ahead and join my man Sid on the support.
Night. That's been a program that's been going on. So this idea, that would be their alternative. Oh, you had a deal, you tore it up. I was at the Council on Foreign Relations when John Kerry got off the plane. It's the first place he went to explain that deal. That room, which should have been with him, was so hostile because I saw how facile he was being about it. Oh, we trust him. We're going to be able to check it out. At one point, he had to yell at the crowd. He went, we're not naive, because they knew you're naive and what they were really doing was saying, kick this downrange for the next president. We don't want to do it.
You're being kind calling it the inspection route. I call it the plane load of cash route.
Yes.
That definitely did not work. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our.
All right, let's get over into Al Jazeera. Let's see what these guys are talking.